Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of The Missing, Book 5, Caught, by Margaret Peterson Haddix, narrated by Chris Sorensen.
Chapter 1. Jonah Skidmore was in science class when time stopped. It was mid-November, so Jonah had already had 3 full months of 7th grade science with Mr. Stanley. He almost could have believed that time stopped every day in Mr. Stanley's class, or at least slowed down so much that every millisecond crawled by at a turtle's pace. Mr. Stanley was an old man with gray hair and gray skin and gray clothes, and he always explained even the simplest concept about 5 times more than he needed to. "Gravity," he'd say, each syllable coming out slowly and distinctly. "Do you all remember what gravity is? It's a vital idea to grasp. It's important. You have to know about it. It holds us on the ground. It keeps us in place. It prevents us from flying off into the atmosphere. Jonah could never force himself to listen to more than 2 or 3 seconds of Mr. Stanley's explanations at a time. He spent most of science class staring at the clock on the wall. It didn't help that science was his last class before lunch. On this particular day, a Tuesday, Jonah was peering at the clock's red digital numerals with even more desperation than usual. 11:43, Jonah thought, his stomach growling. 11:43. 11:43. Oh, come on! Shouldn't it be 11:44 already? Shouldn't this class be over? How long can a single minute last? Jonah shook his head in despair, shifting his gaze just enough that he caught a glimpse of Mr. Stanley. Mr. Stanley was frozen. His mouth was open, stopped mid-word. He had his right arm lifted toward the board, hovering motionlessly over an unfinished line. Forces in nature. The floppy sleeve of his ratty-looking cardigan had frozen mid-flap on his unmoving arm. But what looked the weirdest was that Mr. Stanley must have just dropped his dry erase marker, and it wasn't plummeting toward the floor. It, too, was frozen, in midair about 2 feet below Mr. Stanley's wrinkled hand, about 2 feet above the scuffed linoleum floor. Jonah automatically glanced around, waiting for some other kid to call out, "Whoa, Mr. Stanley! How'd you do that? What's the trick? What were you just saying about gravity?" Everybody else must have stopped watching and listening to him too, Jonah thought. Then he saw what the other kids were doing, or what they weren't doing. They were all frozen too. Dylan Anderson was stuck mid-yawn, his jaw locked open. Blossom Gomez, one of the prettiest girls in the school, must have been stricken in the middle of tossing her hair over her shoulder, because she had a cloud of long strands frozen above and around one side of her head. C.C. Varlov, the texting queen of Harris Middle School, had her thumbs frozen over her cell phone, hidden under her desk. Jonah had never seen Cece's thumbs not moving. Her stopping texting was every bit as strange as the gravity-defying marker at the front of the room. Experimentally, Jonah lifted his arm from his desk, then put it back down. He could still move. He wasn't frozen like everyone else. He sighed. "Okay, JB," he said out loud. "What's going on now?" In the past couple of weeks, Jonah had gotten used to weird things happening with time. He'd learned that his seemingly ordinary life was a sham. He was actually a famous missing child of history, stolen by kidnappers intent on carrying him off to be adopted in the future. When time agents had tried to stop this crime, the kidnappers had crash-landed, leaving Jonah and 35 other babies to grow up out of place in the late 20th and...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.